Hello, and welcome to the lore of Braunhaven. Today, we're going to be talking about the economy of the Braunhaven region and the Glaucian Empire as a whole. And we're going to start with pretty much talking about taxes and the like. So, in the current age, the economy isn't obviously doing as well as it once was. In the past, the Glaucian Empire was seen as a up and comer. Their economy was rising, trade was good, and that all came crashing down with well, there was a couple of factors, but mostly it really hit the tank rock bottom with the uh, coming of the demon plague, and things didn't get better, because then you had the rise of Emperor Belutian Cestus, and along with that, there was this increase in taxes, that some would argue were needed because with killing off 2/3 of the population from the demon plague caused, of course, a deficit in tax collection, and so the capital city of Glauchheim and the Glaucian Empire as a whole was kind of in the hole, as far as they were in the red as far as their income was concerned, and so some would argue that the increase in taxes was needed in order for the empire to even survive. I think that is probably um, a coping mechanism for imperialists. The reality is that nobody should be paying the kind of taxes. It is the Glaucian Empire, Belutian Cestus has decreed across the board that there is a 30% tax of all wealth owned, so all assets. And this tax is to be paid every quarter. So every 3 months, the people of the Glaucian Empire are expected to pay a third of full for in the form of a full forfeiture of assets, and that is, and of course that's not just uh, coin wealth. It is also a matter of livestock and grains and anything that they produce. So I mean, if you went and you got your kids a wooden a very nice wooden rocking horse for the festival of giving, that the imperial tax collector might come and say, well, we're taking that because that's part of the tax owed, and the feeling among the tax collectors in the current age is that the peasantry shouldn't be able to afford nice things, because if they can afford nice things, then that should be going to taxes. They're they're jerks. Along with that, you also have to keep in mind that most of the imperial tax collectors that have come around since Emperor Belutian took power, they are corrupt in and of themselves. So that 30% that the peasantry is paying actually usually comes out to about 35 to 40%, because the imperial tax collectors are going to line their own pockets. You are never going to see a poor, or even a middle class imperial tax collector. They are all quite wealthy, and this this lining of the pockets that goes on is largely overlooked. Nobody really says anything, including the emperor. He as long as they're doing their job, then that is okay with him. Now, this has led, of course, to the peasants creating small caches of coins and jewelry and things of that nature hidden away. Root cellars in most farmhouses will have some little hidden nook or cranny, sometimes an entire hidden room that contains coins, jewelry, anything that they can possibly hide away. Now, the penalty for getting caught hiding this stuff away is probably your life, um, or the life of one of your children or something of that nature, because the imperial tax collectors and their guard is going to go through the house, possibly just take everything and burn your house to the ground and leave you with nothing, if they leave you with your life at all. And so, the current economy in the empire is not it's not booming, because even though they're collecting 30% of the tax, or 30% of the total assets every 3 months, um, the reality is that these people don't have a whole lot to begin with. We're just coming out of a plague. The population has been destroyed, and so there's not a lot of people to work the farms. Farms that are successful, and there are a few larger farms, seem to carry the weight for some of the smaller farms. So um, it is a very dark time. But this, on the screen, you can see this is the coinage of the Glaucian Empire. And we'll be starting here. And the Drachpence is the common copper piece, and it is a small coin. It's stamped with a stylized engraving of a coiled dragon. It was first introduced to the Glaucian Empire from the country of Orentis, which is far off to the southeast across the Dragon Sea. And it was so commonly used that the Glaucian Empire just kind of copied it, and have minted their own. Um, it is it is called a copper piece, but in reality, these coins are usually, there. It's well known that these coins are of a high alloy content. They're not 100% copper. um, but they are recognized pretty much across the kingdom, and since it's only a copper, nobody argues with the material content of the coin. The next and most common coin found in the Braunhaven region is the Facial. It is the standard silver piece. And like I said, it is the most common coin. It is used to pay for anything and everything. It is the dollar bill of its era. There are more facials that are minted than any other coin. It is stamped with the image of a dancing fairy, and it is there is an imperial decree that facials are at least 80% pure silver. So usually, and we'll get into forgery and whatnot too, because that's an interesting subject. But the Empire, Glaucian Empire, guarantees that each facial is at least 80% pure silver. The next largest coin is the Ellsworth. Now, before I continue, so the Drachpence copper piece, there are 100 copper pieces, so 100 Drachpence to one gold cestus piece. There are 10 facials to one cestus piece. So 10 silver to 1 gold, 100 copper to 1 gold. And next on line, we have the Ellsworth, which is a coin made of actual 100% pure electrum. It is one of the rarest coins found in Braunhaven. I say it's the rarest coin compared to the others. It's not like it's not seen, and but it is actually the coin minted by the dwarves in the capital city of Zlatoheim and used throughout the Skelis Mountains. They brought it here across the Barbarous Trade Bridge, along with the Dwarven clans coming, heading east along the Eastern Tradeway, down from the mountains, and they kind of brought it to the region with them. And it is until it became recognized and is pretty much considered a part of the coinage of the Glaucian Empire. And like I said, it is made of pure electrum. And there are two Ellsworths to every Cestus piece. So it is, um, it is very close in worth to a gold piece, roughly half of the price. Then you have, of course, the Cestus piece, and this has since of course, every Cestus piece, they weren't always called Cestus pieces. Every gold piece was minted with the image of the current emperor and named after that emperor's name. In the current age and a bit past, the current gold piece is the Cestus piece stamped with the image of Emperor Belution Cestus. Now, the Empire claims that there is a guarantee that every single Cestus piece is made of 99% pure gold. So similar, they make the guarantee with the face shell. This also goes with the Cestus piece. The reality may be in some question, but nobody has ever bothered to bring it up because the few times that it has been brought up, those people are immediately arrested and charged with forgery. If you question how much gold is in this gold piece, well, then if you are wondering, then that means that you do not believe in your emperor and you are attempting to forge the coin because you are attempting to how much lead can I put in to match the weight of a gold piece? And so nobody really asks. A couple of beheadings later, and all of a sudden the problem seems to have gone away. The last coin that is commonly used is the trade coin. Trade coins are platinum pieces, so they are made of platinum, but they are a round platinum piece, and in the center is a solid gold orb. These are generally considered to be some of the purest coins compared to the other ones as far as their material makeup. Um, and they're usually only carried by merchants or trade caravans because a trade coin is worth five cestus pieces. It's not something that is commonly traded back and forth in the empire. And usually, if you are an adventurer and you go to an inn and you drop a trade coin on the counter to buy a round of drinks for everybody in the tavern, the innkeeper is going to have some questions because normal people don't generally carry around trade coins. I mean, it's not unheard of, but usually if you are dropping a trade coin in a tavern, it's because you were just out on the road and you robbed a merchant caravan. And so, depending on the tavern that you're in, there may be some concern as to whether or not they are feeding bandits. And so, you should be careful about dropping trade coins because there will be questions brought in. Now, the economy as it is, um, there would of course be questions about adventurers selling their loot because no matter what you do, you're probably going to at some point end up with more loot than your party can use, or you have found something better than what you were using before, and you want to sell what you had before. Now, this can become problematic in Braunhaven, the town of Braunhaven, which is the most likely place that people are going to be going. Because during the summer months and early fall, they only have about 500 gold pieces per month that they can spend on purchasing items from adventurers. And this, whether or not they decide to purchase an item, really depends on whether or not they think they are going to be able to turn around and sell it to somebody else. In the form of this is especially true for magic items. The town is probably never going to be able to afford that. One magic item. If you look at, for instance, in the advanced, or I'm sorry, Old School Essentials Advanced Player's Tome They show what it costs to do magical research, and so something like a like a +1 sword is going to run you just to research that item and get materials to craft it is going to be somewhere along the lines of about 10,000 gold pieces. That means that any merchant that gets it is probably at minimum going to sell it for 15,000. Most merchants are probably going to sell it for 20,000 because their idea is they have to make a profit back. If it's an ugly +1 sword, they might sell it for 12, but they want to make a profit on what they purchase it for. They're never going to buy it for 10,000. They might buy it if you're lucky for 5,000, but more likely they're going to purchase it from an adventurer for about 2,500, knowing full well that the value of it is probably around 10. So, um, even so, they're not, even if they were to purchase it for 2,500, they can't because they don't have the gold pieces to spend on it. They only have about 500 gold pieces per month. So this can lead to an issue. Um, in the fall months, fall and winter months, or rather, so I'll amend that. So summer through fall, they only have about 500 gold pieces a month. But from the winter into spring months, that drops down to only about 250 gold pieces a month because all of these people are spending the rest of their gold trying to buy seed for planting, buy feed for animals. They have to hire, if they can, a lot of times they may have to hire extra help to help work the farms. They simply don't have as much money as they do fall and or summer and fall. So this can be a problem. As I said, they can, of course, adventurers can, of course, attempt to haggle, and most of the merchants or traders and whatnot, they will accept barter in the form or in lieu of gold pieces. So it could be that if there's something that the adventurers are wanting to sell, it's possible that a trader may offer something, an alternate form of payment, such as, well, I could give you my horse, or um, I could give you information, or I know the location of a tomb, or something, or even lore, something along those lines. And of course, the adventurers can use the haggle rules um, out of Carcass Crawler number 2, I want to say. There are haggling rules, and so there is some back and forth there. But as far as how much the traders can spend, it is pretty much set: 500 gold pieces per month, summer and fall, and then 250 per month, winter and spring. Um, Magic items, like I said, most of your peasantry and your average townsperson, they don't even think of it in the terms of, oh, well, that's a +1 sword, it's worth 10,000 gold pieces. They think of it as, oh my God, that's a magical item, or even a +1 sword. I know that it is a magical item, but I always think of it more as just a beautifully crafted item or an exceptionally well crafted item. They are thought of by the peasantry as having really a priceless value. That is obviously an ancient artifact. I wouldn't even know where to begin to put a value on it. Some of the more intelligent traders or the more worldly traders will know. And some of them may even be sages that can even tell you a bit more about what the item is, or perhaps they know more about what the item is and they may keep that to themselves because they'll be able to jack the price up when reselling it. So, there's this. Most people are going to have this thought process that magical items are generally priceless artifacts. So this, of course, has led now. That's the standard economy. And we already know that Braunhaven does have a fledgling black market. So we haven't discussed the black market. So it is possible that if if you are in town and you have items that you wish to sell, especially magical items, the black market, so going to the open market and contacting a black market individual may actually net you the results that you're looking for, because the thieves guilds of the region are going to have access to more money than than the rest of the peasantry. That being said, it is still more likely that the thieves guilds are going to offer something in the form of trade rather than expenditure of actual coin. I mean, expenditure of coin or gems isn't out of the question, but they're going to have more um, of items in trade than they do of coin. And of course, most of their coin is received through bandits and brigands who raid the tax collectors and trade caravans. Thus, I mean, it's just a big circle of life. So, um, generally, when you go to sell something, um, the first thing that most traders are going to think of is that you stole it or you came by it illicitly, and so they that's going to be the thought process in their head. They may not even bring it up, but they're only going to offer about half the listed price for it. Maybe upwards of three-quarter value if there is a successful haggle check that's made. So that is the sad economy in the Braunhaven region. Next time, we're going to discuss the races that make up the population of the region, and we'll be starting with the youngest two races that are also the most prolific, and that being humans and halflings. Notice that I said races, and I did not say lineages or species. Lineage would imply that all of the people of Braunhaven have a common link, and that they are all, some form of human. They are not. They are all individuals. They are all individual races. And species isn't necessarily applicable to all of them, because species would imply a subset of a race. And that does apply, for instance, to gnomes. Gnomes, there is a subset called the Sverfneblin. Dwarves, there is the subset of the Durgar. Elves, there is the subset of. There are several subsets. There are phase elves, there are wood elves, there are drow. So I Braunhaven uses the term race, and so we will be getting into that next time. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.